All right, Nick, let's talk about the Nebraska Cornhuskers. This is a team that at the start of the offseason had a neck and neck quarterback competition, but it seems like one guy is really starting to pull away. I'm Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Nick, as I alluded, there was a tight competition at the beginning. Everyone was neck and neck, but one guy in particular really started to pull off, and now it seems he has his foot on the gas and is no signs of stopping. That is none other than freshman phenom quarterback Dylan Raiola. No surprise to anybody, this guy's way out in the lead with the quarterback competition, but we've got a great update on what he's getting better at now. Let's get into the article. We can talk more about it on the other side. This is from over on The Athletic. It says, freshman Dylan Raiola has extended a lead in the quarterback competition that looks sizable after the spring. Raiola, after playing the part of QB1 in the summer, looks comfortable in a leadership position. He brought the Huskers out of the tunnel to start practice and took the first reps in team drills with the offensive unit. Quarterbacks coach and co-offensive coordinator Glenn Thomas said he's happy with Raiola's improved pocket presence. The freshman is not afraid to speak up and call out an older team if needed. That comfort comes through an off season of work, Raiola said. Going through the hard stuff, he said, and now that I have their trust, it's like, okay, he's not getting on me just to get on me. If you correct a mistake and make it right, we're going to celebrate that because it's a big deal to us. Nick, I think this is great for the Cornhuskers. I think Raiola really growing into that leadership role shows tremendous growth through a freshman. I'm really excited about what he's able to do for this team this season. Curious what your thoughts are on this one. But before we get to you, Nick, Nebraska fans, in the comments section below, let us know. There's a lot of new teams coming into the Big Ten. There's a lot of great, exciting matchups now. Let us know, who are you most looking forward to playing next season in the comment section below. Is it a hated rival? Is it a new team that you don't play as often? Or is it just somebody that you are interested in seeing what their team is going to look like? Let us know who you're the most excited about playing in the comment section below. But Nick, what are your thoughts on Raiola's growth here?
Look, so Nebraska, obviously under Matt Rule, they made a lot of great moves. We talked about them a lot in terms of slowly but surely turning the ship around and getting things heading in the right direction. Matt Rule, of course, is a turnaround artist, and he's been working his magic so far with Nebraska. However, the one choke point, the one big sort of really key indicator of how good this turnaround is going to be is Dylan Raiola, right? If Raiola can be the guy who a lot of people thinks he can become the face of the program, star quarterback, all those things. If he can be that guy, this turnaround is immediately going to occur, and the Nebraska Cornhuskers are going to really quickly go back to, maybe not this year, but certainly the year after that, double-digit win seasons, competing in Big Ten titles, maybe even making playoff runs again, right? If Dylan Raiola can't be that guy, we're talking a much longer-term process, and who knows if they are ever able to get escape velocity and finally return to glory under Matt Rule. The fact that Raiola is off to such a great start here in terms of his leadership qualities, the work he's put in the offseason, the coaches recognizing it, checking every single box for a guy you want to be the face of the program, that is a tremendous sign, because that's an indicator that Raiola is going to hit, that he is going to be the guy that Nebraska fans want him to be. And if that's the case, this turnaround, this trajectory remains 100% positive. And I think that's a great, great indicator for the success of Nebraska. 2024, I think they'll be better than they were last year, but I really am looking at 2025 and beyond. Raiola using this year to work through the lumps, in 2025 really come into his own. We talk about these turnaround artists. We talk about what Matt Rule does, right? Early on, it's usually a lot of struggles. Then they have a year where they're average to above average, maybe go to a bowl game, and the next thing you know, they're winning 10, 11 games. I think this is that middle season where Nebraska goes back to a bowl game. Raiola goes through some lumps early on, figures out how he needs to play in the Big Ten, and in 2025, they just take off and become a top contender again. This is why it's so important, because Matt Rule put in place a long-term turnaround strategy. It wasn't going to be a 2-year thing, right? He wasn't going to try and bring in, 50 million transfers and try and pull off just a crazy Jimbo Fisher, Texas A&M recruiting class. He said, okay, here's the plan. Here is the process. Trust the process, that it'll all come together in 2, 3, 4 years. And Dylan Raiola was the most important element of that process. The fact that he's doing so well early on with the mental side of the game, being a leader, I think that's a great sign that he definitely will become what Nebraska wants him to be.
Yeah, and there's some aspect I think of Dylan Raiola. He's putting in the extra effort. He's wanting to do this stuff kind of and really make a name for himself because of that family tie-in here with the
Yeah.
school. His dad's there, his uncle's there. Everybody's talking about him. He's a name. He wants to make his own name for Nebraska, and I think he has the chance to be the biggest name out of his family to come out of Nebraska. I think that being the quarterback, being the guy that is doing the shot caller, he's doing everything right. He's working through there. He's putting in the work to show, like in the article, it said that he's not getting on guys just to get on guys. He really wants this team to get better. I think, like you alluded to, Matt Rule's plan to get this team turned around is paramount here. I think it's really coming into effect, though. You hear about Raiola early on. He's getting involved with some of these guys on the team, some of the senior guys, and I think he's also getting guys lower down on the roster that'll be around for a little bit longer as well. But I think this year we'll see significant improvement. But as you alluded to, this is a long-term thing. This isn't something that's going to happen overnight. We can't expect Raiola to go out and win the national championship in his freshman year. I mean, that would be great, but I think that's unreasonable. So I really like that we're seeing all of the wheels turning. I like to see that Matt Rule, he has this kind of certain way that he does everything, and it's going according to plan 100%. I like to see that everything is just so. There's really no jumps ahead. There's really no steps back so far. It seems like the plan is working flawlessly so far. I'm really excited to see what they're able to do throughout the end of the season, but I think Dylan Raiola is on pace to make this team very good for very many years to come.
Yeah, I think you bring up a great point. I think the fact is Raiola is being very impressive, especially the fact that he's still a teenager. He's 19 years old, right? And I do think it's going to be very important for Nebraska fans and for everybody involved in this program to temper the on-field production as much as you can and just kind of let him grow into a quarterback because it's going to take time. He's not going to show out there and lead him to a national title like you alluded to. And I think being patient with him, ride through the ups and downs of this first year, will put them in a great position in 2025 and beyond. But again, I agree with you. I think you hit the nail right on the head. But in terms of Matt Rule, this is all his plan. This is all his strategy. Put it in motion, and everything is going according to plan. This is why you hire Matt Rule. He's a long-term thinker. He's done this a bunch of times with multiple programs. He's executing his plan, he's executing his strategy. It's working on all cylinders so far. Trajectory is only positive for Nebraska, and Dylan Raiola is the key cog in this machine, and he's rolling on all cylinders so far right now. A lot of good energy right now with this Nebraska Cornhuskers program, and it should continue to build through training camp, through 2024 and beyond.